So as Bernard said, my name is Jonathan Jones, and we want to welcome you to this program. And please understand, folks, that when we're passing on information to you today, it's for education and information purposes only. Sometimes a little bit of entertainment is splashed in there, but that's all this is. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't recommend that you do anything I say because I say it. Dr. Prasad is a scientist and researcher. He's not making any medical claims. Dr. Prasad is presenting to you science from a scientist's perspective, and that's what we expect to hear from him. So we'd like to make a request to our guests that are here today. There may be time for you to ask some questions toward the end of our discussion. Can't guarantee it, but there may be some time where you can ask some questions. But we do want you to know something. Please refrain from asking Dr. Prasad specific medical questions, because we strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. But if there's something that we share with you that's not clear and you want some clarification on it, please feel free to ask those questions. Now, you see the topic of our discussion right now is all about micronutrients, a key to inflammation. We don't use the word cure or treatment in our discussions because the FDA has not evaluated these comments. These products are not intended to be understood to be a treatment or cure for any disease. We don't make any claims about any of the products that we're making, but we do want to share with you a statement made by a couple of clients. So maybe we can just share one with you real briefly. You know what? We'll do it at the end after we get Dr. Prasad's comments, because we then want you to understand the connection between what Dr. Prasad is saying and what is actually happening to some individuals in the field. Okay, so when it comes to inflammation, what are we talking about? A lot of times we think of inflammation as just being pain, but that's not solely the case. Inflammation is destructive to life. There's some serious problems connected with inflammation. I decided to go and look and see what some medical websites had to say about it before having this discussion. And here's what WebMD said about it. They give a little bit of definition to it. It traces back to the Latin word set afire. In some conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, you feel heat, pain, redness, and swelling. But in other cases like heart disease, Alzheimer's, and diabetes, it's not so obvious. If you don't go looking for it with tests, you wouldn't even know it's there. And that's a powerful statement. We'll see if Dr. Prasad agrees with that, if it's really true. So if inflammation is actually happening, and often it's a silent, is it really a silent killer? Is it really doing problems that folks may or may not be aware of? One thing's for sure, it's implicated with a lot of serious issues, neurological diseases. We see cardiovascular disease. But did you know it's connected to cancer? Did you know it was also connected to pulmonary disease and diabetes type 2 and other autoimmune diseases and Alzheimer's? Yes, it didn't even stop there. According to WebMD, there were a few more things on the list that was connected to inflammation. The part that was most disturbing to me, well, it's all disturbing. Really can't even say that one part of this is worse or more serious than the other part. But the brain, inflammation is an issue. The thyroid, inflammation is an issue. Lungs, inflammation is an issue. Look on the halfway down, just under lungs, the GI tract. Now, anybody who knows the words IBS, they automatically know that that's part of the colon, irritable bowel syndrome. Anything that has to do with irritation and inflammation, those are all things connected to some form of GI issue. The liver, did you know that an inflamed liver is associated with major diseases? Inflammation is implicated there as well. Our skin is connected to inflammation issues. Kidneys, every part of the body. Let's just wrap it up and just say that there's no part of the body that first screen inflammation, life. Now, I also want to go see if there was any scientific papers or documentation making a connection between inflammation and antioxidants. And I found just one article. The responses was in the thousands, tens of thousands when it came to inflammation itself. But the one that stood out to me was this one, connecting antioxidants to inflammation. And there it is. You can see the link to it. If you want to do a screenshot and capture this, you can always go back and look the article up for yourself. But it said some of the same things. So what WebMD said was correct. It said that chronic inflammation is connected to cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, cancer, neurological disorders, pulmonary disease, metabolic and endocrine disorders, autoimmune disorders, bone, joint, and chronic inflammation. It's depressing. It's depressing the more that we talk about it. And the most depressing part of it was, to me, this, where they admit in conclusion, because they did not come to any conclusions that antioxidants do anything for inflammation. They really just summarize the entire situation. They talk about the difference between chronic and acute inflammation. They spell out how it works. They talked about all the different pathways, maybe some of the things that Dr. Prasad is going to share with us in just a couple of minutes, but they covered all of it. And then they conclude this, that they need to do more development of pharmaceutical drugs, is what they said. And the first highlighted part says the use of the most frequently recommended drugs of analgesics, such as aspirin, currently is restricted because of their possible side effects, such as severe gastric disorders and other GI side effects. So here's a person who's having major inflammation issues, major pain issues, and the one thing that could potentially be a benefit to them has massive side effects because it's going to do damage to the GI tract. Mm. The very next highlighted paragraph, due to these side effects and health problems of existing anti-inflammatory therapies, natural anti-inflammatory supplements are becoming more popular. Now, is that making your bells ring off in your mind? It should. And many scientific investigations have been concentrated on this area. They know there's a deficiency. They know there's a problem. Dr. Prasad has already produced the solution, in my opinion. All right, so that's just my personal opinion. That's not the opinion of Engage Global or anybody else. That's just my personal opinion that I believe that the solution is at hand. And it really connects to what Bernard said at the very beginning. If you're looking and wondering if you're in the right place and is it the right time, the answer is absolutely yes. Because what we have is the food that's missing from food. See, our normal food that should be giving us nutrients is actually giving us a lot of other things that we didn't exactly ask for. Many times our health problems, and if any of you that are on this call right now, on this meeting right now, are suffering from any of the conditions that we mentioned earlier, do not think it's all your fault that that's the situation, because there are things happening that you have no control over, such as what we're looking at right now. Now, you would think to yourself, oh, isn't that nice? They're watering the plants. No, that's not how they water the plants. That's how they take care of the weeds that are growing up in between the plants. They're spraying an herbicide on the plants. But don't worry, they've assured the government that the herbicide, glyphosate or Roundup, does not mix with human DNA, even if you do consume a little bit of it. So that's been the assurance that's been given to the government, that it won't mix with human DNA. And we really shouldn't be terribly concerned about it. And besides, the makers of Roundup, Bayer and Monsanto, they don't mind going to court and paying out billions of dollars in settlements if it does happen to cause some damage to you. I'm being completely facetious, folks, so please don't take me too seriously on this, but take the facts here seriously, that they are paying out billions of dollars in damages because it has been implicated with major diseases. Here's one article, $289 million was awarded and with a connection to cancer. And it's because that glyphosate was found in cereal and granola bars. Glyphosate, can you imagine that? Weed killer ending up in grains. And in fact, it's been proven scientifically that there's 80% of all these oats and grains have glyphosate in it. And these are just some of the conditions that are implicated when our bodies consume glyphosate. They're all disturbing, but one that I thought was really disconcerting was this one, first one to the bottom here, that says that it impairs impairing methylation pathways. You see that? Impairing methylation pathways. So that means if you're eating glutathione, and Dr. Prasad can tell us this better, does that mean that the methylation or processing of vitamins and nutrients is impaired, so you're not getting what little nutrients is in the food properly? There's a whole lot of other issues associated with it. I mean, even if someone said to you that it was okay, seriously, would you seriously think it's okay to eat weed killer? But that's what's happening. Digestive issues are happening all over the place. And fortunately, Dr. Prasad has even given us a solution to this, to make sure that our microbiome is balanced and working better in our favor, in spite of the fact that these serious issues are taking place in our food. So I said all that just to kind of lay the foundation for what we're about to hear. I want to introduce to you Dr. Kedar Prasad. Dr. Prasad is the Chief Science Officer for Engage Global. As you can see, his background is no small thing. He's not just a run-of-the-mill scientist or researcher. I barely even classify as a researcher. So I hate to even say it sometimes when I'm in the same conversation with this man. But he's not the run-of-the-mill scientist. Dr. Prasad was a professor at the University of Colorado School of Medicine for 30 years. And do you see that? He was right there in the director of vitamin and cancer research. Former president of the International Society of Cancer and Nutrition. If we stop right there, that's enough to introduce this man to this discussion right now. Member of the British Society of Medicine, world's first radiation biology PhD. That one is the one that really gets me excited, because he knows a little something about radiation. The first, he focused on it. He was the first. His products have been awarded 7 U.S. patents. He discovered anti-cancer properties of vitamin E succinate. Did you even know that there was such a thing as vitamin E succinate? I thought vitamin E was vitamin E. Not only is vitamin E not vitamin E, there are several different kinds of vitamin E. He identified the one that, oh, by the way, just so happens to kill cancer cells. It's cytotoxic to cancer. Dr. Prasad is the man credited with that. He also discovered that butyric acid, which is a small fatty acid formed by the fermentation of fibers in the gut, has anti-cancer properties to it. And we get the benefit from the fact that all of his research has been packed into little small things that we can swallow. The food that's missing from our food. He's written not 29 books, but 32 books. The most recent one of his books is entitled Dementia and Memory Loss. We're going to hear a discussion about that this coming Wednesday evening. Jeff is going to interview Dr. Prasad about that. So you'll hear the details on that at the end of our discussion. But he's also been published some 250 times in peer-reviewed publications. So that's who we're talking to now. That's who we get to listen to. So let me step aside and welcome to our discussion, Dr. Kedar Prasad. Dr. Prasad, thank you very much, sir, for joining us in our discussion this afternoon. We're always excited to have you with us, and our audience is always excited to hear whatever it is that you want to share with us.
Thank you, Jonathan. You did an excellent job in presenting the background of inflammation. And I want to describe a few things about inflammation. As you know, the inflammation, there are 2 kinds of inflammation. One is acute inflammation, and another is chronic inflammation. Acute inflammation occurs as when, for example, your body get exposed to some viruses or bacteria, and then your immune system sees that that's terrible things to do, we have to take care of. So they produce acute inflammation. That means they are anti-inflammatory cytokines that is necessary to kill the invading toxic microorganism. And they also send a lot of different types of cells to kill them. So that is acute inflammation. And that occurs only when you have an infection by a harmful bacteria or viruses. Acute inflammation also occurs when you have injury by any agents, either physical agents or, like, for example, free radical damage. So whenever the acute inflammation, whenever injury occurs, our immune cells send cells to repair that damage. And when the damage is repaired, the acute inflammation turns off. It is highly regulated system. But it is very important for you to repair the damage that is produced by either physical agents, X-ray or anything, or free radicals. So this is very important to remember. But if the damage is not healed, then chronic inflammation sets in motion. And that is what you can see that when these things happens, then chronic inflammation sets in motion. And chronic inflammation not only release extra free radicals, but it also produces a toxic chemical such as pro-inflammatory cytokines and also what is called adhesion molecules. So there are many complement proteins. So these are very toxic agents. They produce it. And that's why the chronic inflammation and free radical damage are almost like linked together. Because if say free radical oxidative stress occurs and it is not repaired, then chronic inflammation sets in motion. And then the chronic again releases free radicals that cause oxidative damage, and then you can see that they are linked together. But in case of infection, then in that cases, inflammation, acute inflammation occurs first and cause damage. And then that damage, if cannot repair, then chronic inflammation sets in motion. That's why you see some of those survivor of COVID-19 viruses, you are seeing all kind of damage, brain damage, cardiovascular damage, and kidney, and so on and so forth. So chronic inflammation is the most deadly that again, when chronic inflammation and free radicals are together goes almost simultaneously, and they cause damage and other cause damage too. So it is almost like becomes an additive effect. And so the question is, as you saw, that it is linked with almost every disease, and that Jonathan mentioned, and that is true.
That's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle. And so the question is that how do you reduce both free radical damage as well as chronic inflammation? And then you can say, well, there are some drugs, for example, we have hydrocortisone, but that's just have toxicity, but it reduces just inflammation. It doesn't do anything to oxidative or free radical damage. You have some aspirin or some anti-inflammatory agents, but they do only limited things like inflammation, not fully, but some to a certain extent, and then you feel a little better. Aspirin, for example, Advil, but they cause toxicity. It can cause bleeding in the gut. It changes the gut flora, like I mentioned. And when gut flora, intestinal flora changes, that it is associated with many other chronic health conditions. So it is important to remember that. So the question is how we can reduce both free radical damage as chronic inflammation at the same time, not one after another, at the same time. And there are many studies which has been done, and a single antioxidant, which antioxidant is also micronutrient, and so because micronutrient includes a lot of stuff, including antioxidant, and so it has been shown. But most of the time in an animal model, they use a single antioxidant, whether it is to test on diabetes or to test on Alzheimer or test any kind of things, and that they produce some benefit. But when it goes to human trial, as you know, in the past, vitamin E has been alone has been used, and found no effect. And also that beta carotene and whole bunch of other study in heart disease, cancer, and they were found it is either effective or in some cases like beta carotene trial among smokers increase the risk of lung cancer. But one thing people who use it, they forget one very fundamental property of antioxidant, that in a high, if your body has a high inflammation or high production of free radical oxidative stress, single antioxidant like vitamin E or beta carotene or vitamin A, if it goes there, then they become oxidized because it's such a high oxidative environment, they get oxidized. And then instead of acting as an antioxidant, they act as a pro-oxidant, means like free radicals that can cause damage instead of helping you. And that's the reason, and this is not true if you use a multiple micronutrient. And so we have used, that's the reason we have used a multiple micronutrient. Because body, as you know, and the multiple micronutrient, like we have a micro daily EMF or micro daily methylated form, is the mixture of micronutrient, and this is very effective. And the reason is very effective. First, we have tested it in human, in the Marine Corps, in a training, in the veterans returning from war in Afghanistan and Iraq. We have tested about their beneficial effect, and in all cases they produce beneficial effect. Even in a trial for a heart disease, we collaborated with Dr. Jeffrey Boone, who is a cardiologist for Bronco, and we found again benefit. And if you want, I will describe more detail these studies.
Yeah.
So micronutrient is very important for you because these micronutrients that we have prepared, they reduce both oxidative inflammation, chronic inflammation, and free radical damage at the same time, and by various methods that I can describe more detail, and Jonathan wants, I can send some articles that I have published it describing more detail how it does it, but you have to take my word that it is a published information, it does it, and so that's why we feel that it is very good to have. In addition to that, another most important thing is not only it affects your brain, improve brain function, but also improve your immune function. Deficiency of even one micronutrient can impair your immune function. And if your immune function is impaired, you get easily infected by viruses, bacteria, cold, flu, and all these kind of things. So micronutrient that we have can increase the effectiveness of your immune system. They make it more potent. And therefore, any infection comes, they immediately take care of that, and you don't suffer the consequence of that. So this is very important, that it not only improves you feel good, your brain function is there, but the most important thing is also that it protects against other kind of damage as well, like impair the immune system.
Well, and maybe Dr. Prasad, if you it could make this clear, because you said a few minutes ago that cytokines can contribute to the inflammation.
Yes.
And which to me sounds like the immune system is causing the problem. So can you help us understand, why is it that I want my immune system stronger when it's my immune system that's causing me the pain?
The immune system is not causing the pain. The cytokine is produced by the chronic inflammation. So chronic inflammation is the causing damage to your system via pro-inflammatory cytokines and some other damaging molecules that it produces. So your immune system, that means your immune system is not very effective, and they have not taken care of your damage that is produced by these foreign agents, bacteria or viruses, and therefore now this chronic inflammation is free to produce as much cytokine. And in case of COVID-19, sometimes you have what is called a cytokine storms. And then they give a high dose of hydrocortisone, which has toxicity. But there has been some report that even a antioxidant can reduce the level of cytokine storms that is produced by your chronic inflammatory cells. And so it is important that you keep all the time, not for today, but for tomorrow, because today we have COVID-19. How do I know tomorrow could be COVID-19 20 or COVID-22?
Yeah.
Or brand new viruses or bacteria. So it is important for us to keep our immune system. I am telling you, this is true for, at least individually. I never get sick, and I can attribute that to that my immune system, despite of my old age, my immune system is pretty good to take care of all this kind of a possible infection.
Wow. So you're saying then, that's pretty amazing at 88 to not get sick. So cytokines is like the alarm mechanism of the immune system.
Cytokines, yeah.
So it's like something is wrong.
Right.
And then what you're saying then is the immune system doesn't respond.
Yes.
Cytokine becomes a problem. That's why you get all this inflammation.
That's right.
So I need to have a strong immune system in order for. Okay, so that makes it a lot of sense then, Dr. Prasad. I have there's a couple of questions that are coming up, but before we get to people's questions, I did want you to try to clarify a couple of things, because we have information about you that just never seems to end. Like this list of things right here, Dr. Prasad, is just kind of mind-numbing.
Yeah.
We tell people that you have, all these patents sitting out here, and we say to folks that it's been tested in so many different respects. The one patent here that says multiple antioxidant micronutrients. So you were just giving us a hint of the multiple antioxidants part of this patent right now.
Yeah.
And taking that approach to it.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us a little bit about this this radiation one, this ionized radiation one. Hold on, let's get back to it. Don't go away. Come back here. I guess we could see the next slide. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. DNA protection and repair, because people won't need to know about this, because when we're talking about inflammation, if my DNA is damaged, that's going to lead to inflammation and pain, right?
That's it. So radiation produced first extensive amount of free radicals. That's one. And that causes a inflammation. And so in this case, it's unlike infection, where you have inflammation first, then free radicals gets released, and then you have free radical as well.
Okay.
But in radiation exposure, is produced free radicals which lives in microseconds and disappear and cause damage and disappear. But also some of the free radical exist after radiation as well. In the beginning, we thought, when I was a student, I thought free radicals are only produced during the time you are irradiating it, and after that, it doesn't produce anything.
Oh, wow.
But later on, we found out that, other investigators found out that there are long-term free radicals that radiation produces. So if you want to protect it, you have to protect both, give them before, as well as continue to give at least for a few days after radiation.
Oh, my.
But in both, in a previous, almost all experiment except one, only thing was given before radiation. So only place we gave it both free radiation before and after was the fruit fly study. Fruit fly don't develop cancer. And this friend of mine who was working in NASA in Moffitt, California, has a huge laboratory NASA has. And their main goal to study the effect of proton radiation, which is 10 times more effective than X-ray or gamma ray.
Oh, wow.
So these fruit flies don't develop tumor. But so she injected a human leukemia gene causing leukemia genes inserted in the she knew what the technique involved. I don't know.
I
But
guess you did.
yeah, once inserted in fruit fly, then when the larva, I saw the larva, when they were moving around, you can see the dark black spot of cancer in larva.
Can we spray that around on all the fruit flies and all these other flies to make them get cancer?
yeah. If you give proton radiation, they will so in other words, they become very sensitive to cancer.
Yeah.
And once they got proton radiations, then 95% developed cancer.
Oh, wow.
Normally, they had a few percentage cancer, but once they gave radiation, it's well known to cause cancer. You know that, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we gave them a formula of antioxidant that we have in microdaily mixture, and then they fed through the semi-solid media, the fruit fly. You can't inject anything in fruit fly. You have to go through semi-solid media. And they ate 7 days before radiation, proton, and 7 days after radiation. Then she analyzed, nobody got tumor.
Oh, wow.
That was a fantastic experiment. And then we also did this experiment in a classical manner, like, for example, in collaboration with NASA in Houston and Russian Academy.
You hurt your toe? My toe. She got it fold.
So it is a powerful, we did a lot of a study, and it is a powerful radiation protection. And as you know, so 5G that we are going to have in our all cell phone soon, that they also produce free radicals. But they have some other mechanism of damage, but they also produce free radical, not as much as X-ray or proton radiation, but they produce radiation. And therefore, microdaily EMF we develop will provide protection not only against the an ionizing radiation such as proton or X-ray or gamma ray, but also against any potential 5G radiation, electromagnetic radiation as well.
Okay, so 5G is not as bad as that radiation that you hit those fruit flies and these rabbits with.
Yeah. Because
So,
it's a very high dose.
okay, so but your nutrients protected their cells at massively high doses of radiation. So then it really ought to do me some good.
Yeah, you can see that this is a rabbit, and they give such a massive dose that if you give that kind of dose in human, they will die within 24 hours. Nothing you can do. And in this case, the rabbit died in 4 days. When they did autopsy, you can see placebo is a dark, lung becomes collapsed and dark. But when they got the antioxidant, they die of CNS damage, but at least the lung got protected.
Oh, wow.
You can see that. And they because the dose was so massive that they don't die of any like bone marrow damage or damage to the intestine. They die of brain damage. You get almost get fried.
Okay. Well, I think I'd like for my lungs to look like the guy on the right there. More than the guy on the left. The guy on the left looks like he has a smoking habit. So, so Dr. Prasad, so what you're saying here, and this other study here in Nuremberg, Germany, I'm sure that's connected to it. So you were able to actually detect that DNA was being repaired after it was damaged from radiation in humans. Yeah,
because this was a CT scan, and CT scan give very tiny amount of radiation, and doctor will say, don't worry about it. There was no damage. But when the guy took a blood and in a lymphocyte, they measured the double-strand DNA damage. That's one form of DNA damage. And this is a very high level of DNA damage. So then patient, he gave again, the antioxidant mixture that we have in microdaily an hour before the CT scan, and then went through CT scan and did the same analysis and found out there was over 50% reduction. Just only one time. You should have given before and after as well. But just before radiation, a CT scan, still you get a 50% reduction DNA damage. That means DNA was repaired. And so that was very exciting in human studies, to show that even a tiniest amount of radiation can potentially cause damage. And if you are taking a micronutrient like that we have, it can protect you both before and after.
Okay. So there's a suggestion that I personally am making. Before you go to the dentist, take micronutrients.
Exactly.
When you
I
come
do it.
to the dentist, take it afterwards. You go for MRI, you go for CT scan, whatever you're going for. Take it before, take it after, folks. So that's just me giving you a recommendation.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Prasad, can we show you one testimonial where somebody started taking your products with issues that sounds like was inflammation related?
Sure.
So Nick's going to go ahead and cue the tape for us. Well, go ahead. We'll hear your story. Please tell us.
Well, first, I'm so happy that you suggested the EMF because I got on that, and that has been just a huge difference with me having so many things that I was dealing with. So the EMF has been wonderful. I had swelling in my legs and ankles and feet. They were badly swollen. I got on the EMF, hadn't had a problem at all. I wish I could send you. I can send you a before and after.
Yeah, please do. So you had shrink in your ankles. So that's like a form of lymphedema.
Yeah, I mean, it was really bad, and hadn't had any episodes with my sarcoidosis. It's been clear, no problem. The asthma, no problem. Haven't used the pump thing, the inhaling thing, for I know about 8 months, I guess. Not on any of the gabapentin or any of that. Don't need any of that. Okay, then I got on the collagen. That was just amazing. I couldn't believe that I'm walking upright and not I mean, everybody that knows me knows that my knees separate and I get stuck places where I can't move, can't get up, can't put weight on my knees. My husband and everybody around me have to help me up out of every seat because I can't get up by myself. I've hurt my shoulder from pushing up on everything, right? September 1st, hit the ground running in the ministry, and people, my friends were saying, you need to slow down. What are you doing? Because they know if I do too much, I'm going to be down for maybe weeks at a time. But
so what happened? Tell us what you did. What made the difference?
I took the collagen. It was the collagen. When I started taking that collagen, it just, I don't know, I wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't looking for it to do that. I just know how science works. And when I see you explain, when I see you and the doctor come on and explain and break down how something works, then I know that makes sense. So take it. I don't know what it's going to do, but I know it makes sense. So I decided to try it.
So are you saying that prior to your taking collagen daily, you couldn't stand up? You had to have assistance to stand up. Your knees were in pain. What, did you need knee replacement surgery or something? Was that, and you just didn't want to do it?
Right. Because I have so much nerve damage, they said that the recovery from the surgery would be so bad for me that they were just trying to avoid it as long as they could. They said, we're going to have to avoid this as long as we can because the recovery from the surgery would, the rehab and the surgery is so damaging. So they said I wouldn't be able to do it. We knew that because of previous surgery. I had a torn meniscus. So I've been walking around with 2 torn meniscus and just bone on bone.
So you're bone on bone, and now are you telling me, you said that you got out of the car and went to the grocery store. So talk to us. Tell us what you started taking collagen daily, and now you're walking around.
Yeah. And my husband always has to go in, and I have to sit in the car. And I tell you, he pulled up at the door, and I said, "I'm going in."
That's exciting.
And then we went somewhere else. And so, look, it has not gotten worse. I keep looking for it to revert back, but it's not. I was on my feet a lot since September 1st. So yesterday, we were out a long time, and everybody kept saying, "You better cool it. You're going to be down." So I said, "Okay, I'm going to take a day off." I took the day off, but I'm going back out tomorrow.
So you're out, you're literally walking around and back to yourself again. How long has it been since you've been walking around like this, Adnalena?
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't know.
5 years?
I mean, I still have pain in my body, or, I still have pain, but it's nothing like suffering.
But you're walking around now.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And you believe that it's because of collagen daily.
Oh yeah. And even when I sit, my knees would separate, and I have to wait, straighten my leg out, and try to knock it back in position. Both of them was doing that. It hasn't done that in, what did I tell you, about 2 weeks? And that was like several times a day.
Wow.
When I would sit and bend my knees, it would separate. It would get dislocated.
I don't know, Dr. Prasad. What do you think here, Dr. Prasad?
I think this is very interesting because, we know something about collagen that everybody has published it. But remember last week, I saw a report that collagen peptide, for example, there is one enzyme which destroys the production of the insulin production. And so the prescription drug is the inhibitor of that enzyme called DPP4. So that if the enzyme is inhibited, that now insulin can be produced and can be helpful. So this is one of the drugs that is prescription drug is recommended. So somebody did a double-blind placebo study on a diabetic patient who were getting 4 or 5 different diabetic medication, and they found that by giving the just collagen peptides alone, they found that after a 90 days trial, all criteria, A1C was down further, fasting glucose was down further.
Oh my goodness.
Insulin sensitivity was down further. And so it improved more. So maybe you don't have to take as much drug to maintain your level. And so this is the same way. So many function of collagen peptides or collagen per se, because as you know, there are 29 different kinds of collagen, different cells, brain has a different kind, skin has different kinds. So joint may have different ones. So their biological function is still, we don't know too much about the collagen peptide. So that was very surprising study to me. And nobody has done a study on this young woman. And so, but this is very exciting. You can explain with some, we don't know how to explain, tell you the truth. Except that,
if you can't
explain it,
what about the rest of us?
Yeah. But as long as it's doing good thing for you, this is okay. Someday we will find out why.
She said she had torn meniscus and bone on bone, and now she's walking around, Dr. Prasad.
Yeah, I know. No, I mean, some of the things.
Fibromyalgia. Sarcoidosis.
Yeah, some of them you can say that it explains that, maybe cartilage was repaired. I don't know how long she has been taking. So some of the things
back in July, taking EMF. And then in September, when you released Collagen Daily, she started taking it. This is October the 9th, Dr. Prasad. That recording was taken a month ago.
That's an acute effect. So it is so again, you just can't explain right now. But I'm glad that she has some positive effect.
I wanted you to see that one. I'm going to introduce you to her. So
I wish somebody would do a clinical study on that kind of situation, because there are many people suffer with that kind of situation.
Okay.
But,
Okay. Well, we're going to try to line up some of these clinicals. We're trying to get some folks in here to that are interested in ponying up some funds behind it. So
I know this is good.
They're blowing up my phone in the chats talking about they got a couple of questions for you, Dr. Prasad.
Sure.
To save my life, can we just go ahead and get a couple of questions?
Sure.
Okay. So Doris Kreider has a question. And remember, folks, please, the questions need to be non-medical. If you want clarification on something Dr. Prasad has said, great. But we try to refrain from asking him medical questions. He really wants you to seek your advice from your doctor with your questions. Okay, so someone says, how do we get the product? Doris Kreider, you haven't, you are unmuted. Go ahead, Doris.
Yes. Dr. Prasad, I thank you so much for everything you're doing and what you have done. And it's just a blessing to me. Right now, I'm very full. This lady that just spoke, I'm going through some of the same things, mostly everything she's going through, I have gone through. And I just wanted to be able to talk with her, and I wanted to leave my number for her. I didn't catch her name. I didn't see it I don't know if she's in the chat or how I can do it, but I need to get my number to her and ask her if she would give me a call, please.
Doris, that's no problem at all. Alfreda can connect you directly to her, okay?
All right.
I'll make sure, Alfreda. Tell Alfreda to connect you to Adnalena, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Princess Nikki B has a question.
Hi, good evening, everybody. How are you?
Very good, very good. Thank you.
My mom is the most amazing person on earth. It's Sonia Barnes. It's my mother. My mom has been trying to get me to take these products for the longest while, and I'm going to be very honest with you. I have a meniscus tear, ACL tear also, and I have bow legs. You know what bow legs is, sir? I am bow-legged.
Yeah.
You might think it's sexy, but it hurts as hell. So both of my knees, I have no cartilage in both of my knees. And I am hoping that the cartilage product that he is talking about, I'm going to start taking it as soon as I get back home. I'm not home right now, but I am willing to be your guinea pig for the next 90 days with this product to see if it's going to help me. I know it's going to help because my mom is such a believer in it, and I would love to utilize the use of the product. And I just want to ask the doctor, with my situation, what product do you think will be better for me to use with me being bow-legged, not having any cartilage in both of my knees, and I also have a meniscus tear that was fixed and an ACL tear. Both of my knees are inflamed. I'm taking naproxen, Darvocet, I'm taking all these other medications, and I just need help.
Well, I think I would suggest you take at least a micro daily EMF and collagen peptides, because your problem with the cartilage is there, and there has been some study that supplementation with collagen peptide can restore some of the lost your situation, so it will improve cartilage, will be restored. And so 90 days is a good time to try, and you will see that you will find some improvement there. And people have done experiment with collagen peptide, and they showed that under these kind of conditions, it helps not only restoring the cartilage, but also the bone minerals and bones and so on.
Thank
will
you
be
for
up-
responding to me. Are those the only two products that you are recommending, the collagen peptide?
Yes,
and the
I mean,
EMF?
and also that if you have some health issue, we always recommend probiotics because anytime you have
Probiotics.
any kind of a sickness, then the intestinal flora changes in favor of a harmful bacteria. And so probiotics with prebiotics will restore in favor of beneficial bacteria. And then you will feel overall health much better.
Thank you. I appreciate your time, sir, and keep up the good work. I appreciate you. And thank you to my mom, too, Sonia, for getting me on. And to the
Yes.
moderator, thank you so much, sir. Have a great evening,
Very
everybody.
welcome. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
sharing your story. Listen, we want to hear what happens in the future once you get started on the
Yes,
project. Okay, we
definitely.
want to hear. So make sure you circle back to us and let us know what happens.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, Nikki. Horace, LeMay Horace.
LeMay Horace, yes. Hi, I wanted to ask about the collagen. I currently take collagen that has the different types in it, 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10, I believe. What is the difference between that and what you have? Because I played sports in college before I came into the truth. I played sports and I still play. And I notice now that I'm more active, I am starting to have the same issue. I mean, I've always been active, but now that I'm playing the sport instead of just working out, I'm noticing that I'm having the same agitation that I did when I was just working, from just taking it and working out. It was fine, like the collagen was working. But now that I'm actually active, I feel like there's more inflammation. I can feel, I get a lot of cramps in my feet now. Like it automatically starts cramping up and I have to do a lot of things. And it could be due to, stretching, but I think there is some inflammation in there as well, from response to my body and the things that I'm doing. So what is the difference between those collagens, the collagen peptide, and then the ones that I'm
Yeah. Well, our is, I think, collagen peptides 1 and 3.
Yeah.
And but here's the thing: collagen peptides, over 90%, the collagen is a collagen number 1, over 90%. And so there are some tiny fraction of the other one. But one major difference is that if you take a collagen peptide that you are taking right now, they will they will go and make some new collagen, but they will be quickly destroyed because the enzyme which degrades collagen increases as you do many type of physical activity during aging. It looks like you are a young person, and so what we have done in our product is put the two inhibitors of the enzyme, like collagenase, which destroy the collagen, and elastase, that the enzyme destroy elastin, which is very important for flexibility. And so without the enzyme inhibitor, you won't see much effect. And if you see some beneficial effect, it would not last longer because they will be continued to destroyed by the enzyme, which you have not addressed to. And therefore, our product has the enzyme inhibitor, and therefore any beneficial effect you will see will last for much longer time.
Okay. What is that enzyme inhibitor? Because I use Vita Authority.
No, the enzyme inhibitor we have isolated from the 2 sources.
Okay.
One is from the amla extract,
Okay.
and we use amla extract, and another is a white tea extract instead of green white tea extract. And these 2 extracts had those inhibitors. So we have not used a purified inhibitors, but they have extract, have a sufficient amount of inhibitor. Plus, as you know, amla has been used in Indian Ayurvedic medicine for all kind of treatment. It has antioxidant activity and so on. That is some additional benefit. And so is the white tea extract. I'm sure there are a lot of phenolic compound which can be also useful. And so, but these extracts have been shown in a published information that have a sufficient amount of a collagenase and elasticase, and another is there's another enzyme, long one,
Okay.
MMP4 or something like that. And so the major difference is that we have enzyme inhibitors, and that's why it makes better, because the effect will be prolonged. And then what happens? Like, for example, your brain has collagen number 6, only one tiny amount, only in neuron, not in a glia cell. But when the gene for collagen 6 is there, and so you provide this collagen that they pick up only those which is needs it. So all cells have a different requirement. They have a different gene. So once you provide the basic amino acid for making a collagen, they decide what type of collagen I'm going to make, depending upon what kind of gene they have it. So brain has a gene, for example, neuron has a collagen gene for collagen 6. So one amino acid goes for whole collagen. He said, no, I don't need a collagen 1. I will make only collagen 6.
Okay. And I have one last question. I don't want to monopolize.
No, that's okay.
So I know you're talking about the gene type. Is there any specific collagen that works better with your blood type? Because your blood type and your genes, they have different receptors, right? Depending upon the blood type. But
Yeah.
is there a specific collagen number that's better?
No, it is independent. Collagen is found, in almost every organ.
Okay.
And so I don't think it is depending upon what kind of blood type you have. This is independent.
Okay.
And so it will goes to your cell, because what happens when you take collagen peptides, they get all in intestine converted to amino acids, and then amino acid get absorbed, and then cell picks up whatever they need for making number 6, number 3, number 1, and so it is that's why the decision, because each cell has a genes for a specific type of collagen. And so then they decide, okay, I will take only this much to make for my needs.
Okay. Okay. I get it now. Thank you.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you very much, LeMay, for your question. Joan B has a question.
I had to come on. I had to unmute. Good evening, Dr. Prasad and Jonathan.
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's just exciting being here.
Thank you.
My question is, a month ago, about a month ago, I was diagnosed with, I had a bone density checkup, and they said my bones were fragile. I have been taking the collagen. What I would like to know, I take 2 scoops. Do I need to double that? And plus, I'm also taking the EMF daily.
Mhm.
So do I need to double my collagen, or just still take the 2 scoops a
No,
day?
I don't. No, I think collagen, what you are doing is okay, and it is non-toxic. So, but what you are taking is okay. But in addition to collagen for your bone situation, I don't know if you take a calcium and magnesium supplement or not. If you are not taking that, I would suggest that you take a calcium citrate supplement, say 500 milligram, and then they will have also magnesium citrate. And make sure it is, because sometimes it is a calcium oxide, then it is not absorbed. And so you will be wasting your money. But if you take a calcium citrate and magnesium, say 500 milligram to 1000 milligram, and then you will be, it will help you further.
Okay, so with I know you have the calcium citrate in the EMF daily. So you're
Yes.
just saying take that, take outside of the EMF daily, take 500 grams of the calcium citrate.
Yes.
Milligrams.
Milligram,
3 milligrams.
500 milligram, not
Additional. Yeah.
Additional.
additional, yes.
So my question is, outside of what you have, what would you suggest to be the best product to take along with your EMF daily?
EMF you are taking, collagen peptides you are taking, and I suggested this, but also I would suggest to take probiotics.
Yes, I'm taking that too. I'm
Okay,
taking
good.
that too.
That's the only thing, additional supplement I will recommend is the this calcium and magnesium.
Okay, and that's outside of your
Yes.
product.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, because you have very little there. But, and calcium is very important. The ratio is 2:1. So you take a calcium twice as much as you take magnesium. So, and if the tablet is big, you can cut it in half or do, they come in a tablet form. My wife takes it every day, but this helps.
What is it?
Calcium citrate
Okay.
plus magnesium mg, magnesium citrate.
Thank you very much, Joan. Just so we can squeeze in a couple more questions. Thank you very much, Joan. Gail has a question, and we're getting right to the end here, Dr. Prasad.
Okay.
Just real quickly, I was wondering, so for women who have hormonal issues, hormonal imbalances, have difficulty sleeping, mood changes, what would you recommend?
Yeah, micro daily EMF would be the best. And if you have to take only 2 products, for example, then I will take a micro daily EMF and a probiotics. But collagen peptide, I don't know your age. Collagen peptide is good if you are over 50, and even 40s. It is always good, collagen peptides. So those 3 things I would recommend must. And if you are an older person, 65 or old, I will recommend also take brain boost and eye boost.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gail. And Paul has a question.
I actually have a question because I've been to several different herbal doctors and throughout the years, actually. And every single time I get on their supplements, I have to change my diet. Right now, I've actually had to go back to eating, I guess, like lean meat, because before it was more like a vegan diet. So with your supplements, do you recommend what kind of diet? Like, is it okay to keep on eating chicken and turkey and fish, or because they even want me to eat meat because my iron was low? So like, what is your diet would you recommend?
Yeah, I think, if you are a vegan, that has a lot of problem, then you take a vitamin. And actually my daughter-in-law is vegan, and so she takes supplement. And but for iron deficiency, I think, if you take for example, a spinach is very rich in iron. And so if you take a vegetable like, if you are not a meat eater, you are vegan, you don't have to take meat. But if you take something which are very rich in iron, and a spinach is one, another is raisin. I love raisin. Raisin is also very rich in iron. So try to eat some of these things and see if your iron level is increased, and if it doesn't get restored to a normal level, then you may have to take an iron supplement for a short while, and the doctor will recommend it for you. But you don't have to change your vegan concept of diet and start taking a meat just for iron. I think there are many ways you can have iron if you believe in a vegan diet. But I mean, I'm a meat eater. I eat meat, fish, I eat everything. But I'm saying that out of respect for those people who are vegan, they don't have to change their schedule. If you take a micronutrient, and if you take a good diet, and if you are iron problem, that you take a lot of spinach, which is very rich, and take some raisin. Raisin is very good. Take some nuts.
Did you say raisins?
Raisin, yeah, raisin.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Prasad, I would love to keep going. Thank you very much, Hall, for your question. I would love to keep us going here, but we are already 10 minutes past our agreed upon time.
So 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now, we will get together again, right?
And I think that's what I want to just tell everybody is that they can expect that. I'm going to turn it back over to Bernard, but thank you very much again,
Sure.
Dr. Prasad, for coming. We keep recordings of these events. So anyone who thinks that they know someone that could have benefited from this discussion, they can just skip back with whoever invited them and they'll direct them to how they can get recordings of this event. But folks should know that we're going to be talking to Dr. Prasad in 2 weeks. So we're going to be looking forward to that discussion again. So we can't thank you enough, Dr. Prasad.
Thanks. I always enjoy, Jonathan, you know that, talking to your groups and hearing some news, good news that keeps me going at my age because I feel happy and excited.
Well, fantastic. Well, you can expect to hear a whole lot more coming soon. So thank you very much again. So Bernard, folks, it's been my pleasure, my privilege to be your host and moderator for the afternoon. I've got to jump off to another meeting. So I'm going to pass it back over to our chairman, Bernard, and he's going to give you some more additional information that you'll need to know about for the coming days and weeks. Thank you, folks, very much for joining us.
Good.
Thank you, Jonathan and Dr. Prasad.
Thank you. Thank you, Bernard.
Don't forget to unmute, Bernard.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Just everybody unmute and just say
Thank
thank you
you.
to Dr. Prasad. He stayed on for, he's a trooper.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Thank you,
Jonathan.
Thank you,
Dr.
Prasad.
Thank you, Dr.
Dr. Prasad.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
Prasad. Hey, Jeff.
Thank you.
On Wednesday.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Thank you, Dr. Prasad. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Hey,
See you
Jeff,
in
do
2
you,
weeks.
Jeff, while you're still on, Jeff,
Love our
Jeff,
micro
while you're
daily.
still
Yes.
on,
Yes.
could you please give everyone all the arrangements for the week? Though we have a lot of people here that are new and they have to know about the additional programs and all. So I wanted to go ahead and give you that opportunity to make sure that we're updated with any information that you need to give to us. We're standing by. We're turning it over to you.
There's so many things going on, but I want to acknowledge where Dr. Prasad is going to be. And so tomorrow night, we're having a men's only call on the Johnson's line, 420. Look for that. It's a Zoom that starts with 420. That's tomorrow night. And that I'm not sure exactly on the time. I think it is. Coraline, are you on?
I am.
Okay.
It's
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Did you
I
say
can post it.
420?
Yes,
Yes, I'll send it to
420.
you, Dr. Prasad.
Coraline will
send
send
me.
it to you.
All right,
Coraline
and I
is
can
gonna
also
send it to you.
post it if you'd like.
I don't have 420. You have to send me.
Yeah, we will.
I'm gonna send it to you.
That is tomorrow night. It's not on the calendar. We're sneaking this one in. So tomorrow night, it's a men's only call. Dr. Prasad is going to be on there 5, 6, 7, 8 as we go across the time zones. And then on Wednesday night, we have Dr. Prasad, myself, and my beautiful sweetheart, Helen, is going to be on dementia and memory loss. We are talking all about Dr. Prasad's new book, how you can get it, some exciting things that are going on in association with it. But it is the 12th of this month. So Monday, it's a men's only call. Wednesday is going to be discussion about Dr. Prasad's new book. So we invite everybody out there. And Wednesday night is going to be on the corporate Zoom. That's the 291. And that's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8 on Wednesday.
When is the corporate call?
It is on the corporate number. It's the call that you and Helen and I are doing about.
Oh,
your
yeah,
book.
291. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. That's it. And other than that, those of you that were here on Friday night, you realize that we released a brand new Dr. Prasad Choice bundle. And this is it. This is it. It's Dr. Prasad's Choice. And it now, Dr. Prasad, it includes the probiotic.
Yep.
So you can see there, it's the Dr. Daily EMF, the probiotic, the collagen, the brain, and the eye, all of it together. So awesome. Thanks.
Okay. Thank
You bet.
you.
Take care. Bernard, back to you.
Okay, I'd be remiss not to mention Coraline, by the way, is one of the top producers for the company. And we actually have her here. I didn't even know she was here. And if she's still on, she want to have a couple of words, because everyone, by the way, the normal meeting is over with Dr. Prasad. Everyone is on here now are saying, in essence, you know what? I really love what I heard this evening, and I want to be a part of this opportunity. And I'd be remiss not to mention Coraline, because she has taken just a front lead there, her and Jonathan and Jeff, and that, and of course they got some new people of the legacy. So Coraline, if you're still on, you have a couple of words. You got 111 people that want to do this business. You have some thoughts you would like to share with them before we have a brief business meeting?
Hey, Bernard, thank you for allowing me to share briefly. I just want to say that this is such an amazing opportunity for us to really go out and help people improve their lives, and at the same time help with our finances. I am just, we've done all of this through the power of your testimony.
Could you mute everyone except the speaker? Mute everyone except the speaker.
We're getting there. We're getting it.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Coraline. I apologize.
Okay. No, I was saying there's so much power in your testimony. I've said that from the very beginning. And so to have an opportunity to have great products and to have the formulator of those products, and then, have people purchase their bundles, because we came up with, we don't sell bottles, we sell bundles, because it is a total effect. And then to sit back and hear the testimonies are what continue to make me go out and continue to share. And it is just so rewarding to know that finally I have a product that it's not a gimmick, it's science. And I'm just in awe, and I'm so excited. And, I can't wait to work more with you. And thank you for all that you're doing to get out the product, because that's what we have to do. Nobody in the United States knows about this product. That's what's so exciting.
Well, thank you so much, Coraline. You're absolutely wonderful. I've been hearing so many wonderful things about you. I can't wait to meet you one day. And so
we will.
Somebody stood up here and said, and I'm gonna just read this, because this is not, we had another program, but I'm willing to relinquish. Jonathan is gone, so therefore he left it in the wrong person's hands. It said, Bernard, if Dr. Prasad stays, would it be possible at all that a couple of people asked quick questions? They waited all week to ask him before they made a purchase. I'm going to take and pass this over to Jeff.
Sure, Bernard. For you,
and I'm going to take my hands off. Jeff, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I will take two questions.
Let's do it. It's two questions. Dr. Prasad said two questions. So the first two hands that are up in the chat. Oh, look at that. We got Paul and Gail.
I have a question in regards to in your product, or what he was telling the lady before was about the magnesium citrate. Currently, I'm on magnesium malate, magnesium glycinate, and I also take the taurate. What's the difference between, as far as the citrate? Is there more benefit in that? You were telling the lady.
The magnesium citrate, calcium and magnesium citrate is absorbed much better than any other form of citrate. The only difference is absorption.
So the magnesium glycinate, the magnesium, what's the other one? The taurate, and then the magnesium. Could I take the magnesium glycinate at night to sleep?
There is no reason for taking 10 different types of magnesium. Just take magnesium citrate. I don't know why they do it.
Or just take more microdaily EMF. That's the way that we approach it. If our body's not getting what it needs, we just take a little more of the microdaily EMF. I don't have a gazillion bottles sitting in my cupboard. I just have more microdaily EMF.
Okay, well, I'm new. I'm still new, so I haven't bought the product.
No,
yet,
but
so
in addition, suppose sometimes people have deficiency of magnesium, then you take magnesium, but you take magnesium citrate.
That's the only one.
Yeah, I am deficient.
Wonderful. Okay, Gail. Gail's the next one.
Okay, yes, she so I just have to ask for her. If someone is overproducing cholesterol, then what should they do? What would cause them, their body to be producing an extra amount of cholesterol? And then what would you recommend that they take?
But if you are producing extra cholesterol, that means cholesterol level is very high. And I think, your cardiologist will invite, but if you take say a small amount of Lipitor, say, for example, 20 milligram, then it will come down quickly. And then you maintain, then you take micro daily together. There is no interaction with that. And if you take micro daily EMF or other things, this will be okay. And so if you are high level of cholesterol, the quick way of doing it would be take some Lipitor.
Okay, but if the person, I'm asking for someone else, but if they prefer not to take, the medicine.
Well, then might take chronically, it might take time. Like one study that we did with firefighter in Denver when I was there. And then after 1 year, the lipid profile improved like Lipitor. But I think, the Lipitor has 20 milligram, has very no toxicity. And doctors sometimes recommend very high dose. But I think if I were you, I will take both, make sure your cholesterol is. But as I said, the study we did in a human, it took 1 year before you see the improvement of a cholesterol and other lipid profile, HDL, LDL, and so on.
Okay. It was interesting. If we had the time, Dr. Prasad could go into the whole story there with Dr. Jeffrey Boone. He was the cardiologist for the Denver Broncos, the football team there. He was the one that ran the study for Dr. Prasad. And at the end of that year, he started calling the microdaily the poor man's Lipitor. So
I imagine then we would just have to take a lot of it over a course of a year, like you said.
Let your body correct those deficiencies by taking the micronutrients.
That's and also in the diet, reduce any fat intake. Diet is also very important. And in my book,
this person is hereditary.
EMF, I have made some suggestions about the diet.
Okay.
And try to follow as much as you can. As you know, human behavior are very difficult to change. Still I go and in a weekend I eat more than I should. In a restaurant, I drink more than I should. But, once in a while is okay.
Yeah, she's very slim and she has none of the factors that contribute to high cholesterol. It looks like it's hereditary. But
yeah,
it could be if he's a skinny guy and if his diet is good and still cholesterol is high, it could be a genetic. Do you know if the parents had a similar problem?
I don't know, but I would imagine perhaps so, because she's very slim.
Yeah. And so that's the reason that's another reason why it is so important to have both micro daily EMF as well as a small dose of. My wife takes only 10 milligram of cholesterol, so you start with 10 milligram of Lipitor, and then with micro daily you will be happy.
Thank you, and thank you, Bernard. You're the best, I tell you.
Well, actually, those two on here are actually the best. I'm just following them. Do we have time for one more, Jeff?
One more.
I've got to go.
This is it.
Okay. Dan, right. Dan still got his hand up. Go ahead, Dan Tanzer. Pull you up onto the screen.
Just a quick note with the calcium, magnesium, you need to put zinc in there too, as I have been told in times past. Zinc is a trigger, and you need to take those things at night. Your body builds the most at night. Is that correct, Dr. Prasad?
No, that's not correct. The zinc, we have enough zinc in our product, so you don't have to take a zinc. But depending upon how much zinc you have, if the zinc is a small amount, it makes no difference. But if zinc is a large amount, that's not good either. And so I think it can inhibit the absorption of selenium. And so again, we have enough zinc in our micro daily EMF, so you don't have to take extra zinc. But if you want to take extra zinc, and if suppose there's another 5 milligram, that probably makes no difference. But if you have another 15 or 30 milligram, that may not be good.
All righty. Well, thank you very much. And I want to say
Thank you.
hello to LeMay Horse.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff.
All righty.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Thank
See you,
you.
everybody.
All right.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Prasad, thank
All
you.
right,
Thank you.
everybody. That is
Bye-bye.
the end. The end of that. That we are going to have a
Thank
very
you.
brief business meeting.